Have you been questioning everything you've ever believed in? Or have you? Have you been through that in the past? We're going to talk about that today. It's definitely something I've experienced. If you're new to me, welcome. I'm Jessica Loper. I'm a spiritual mentor. And here today, we're just going to talk about belief systems and having a change in beliefs because it can really turn your world upside down for some time when that happens. Um, it's happened to me, I would say a couple times, like really, um, to like a high degree, and then several times to a smaller degree, if that makes sense, right? Like the biggest one for me was probably leaving religion. Um, and then there's been other times where I've questioned, like really reevaluated and questioned what I believed in. And it could be silly stuff like aliens or thinking about other planets or life forms or the universe as a whole. Going from someone who doesn't believe in God and never has to now going, maybe there is something higher, greater that I can connect with. So it could be anything. It could even be societal, right? Or generational patterning, like a way you've been raised by your parents or society. So it doesn't even have to be religion or God related. It could be something that's just disrupted. Maybe like the way your parents raised you. One day you were like, whoa, there's another way to think. There's another way to believe, right? So it could be anything. And a lot of people are experiencing that right now. So my message for you is that it's okay. It's okay. It's okay if your world gets rocked and you're questioning everything and you feel like you don't know what to believe or who to believe or where to turn, or you just feel restless or worried or your mind is obsessed with it. I've been there. And you know what? It's okay because it means you're growing, it means you're expanding. It's actually a very normal part of the human journey. We're meant to question things, and it's okay if things get turned upside down. Maybe it's even new information that you've been fed or told that makes you see something you didn't see before, you know? It's a good thing. That means your consciousness is expanding, and it can feel very scary and scattered at times, but just know that there's nothing wrong with you. It's okay. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna find peace and you're gonna get to a place of peace, yeah, and acceptance, okay, if that's what you want. All right. So, a little on my journey with that. I wasn't really planning on talking too much about that. I do have some older videos if you go back where I go like into a deeper dive of things with belief systems. I'll put a link in the comments to a couple of those, but I left religion when I was 18 after being raised in a strict religious home. And it took me several years to really figure out my place. Not that I have it all figured out. I don't think we ever stop figuring it all out. And that's actually another thing I wanted to talk about. I'll come back to that because I really feel like this journey is about continuous growing, questioning, learning, finding our truth, finding ourselves. But just quick background, leaving religion, it took me several years to really get solid in my beliefs again. Not that I think it has to take that long. I absolutely don't. And I think people now are shifting quicker. This was over 20 years ago. We're in different times now. I think people are questioning things and shifting much quicker through changes in belief systems. We're at a heightened time of awakening and it's picking up. And if you're someone who feels like you've recently had a spiritual awakening or recently just re-evaluated everything you've ever believed in, I think it's just the times we're in, and I think there's a lot more support now for people going through that than there used to be, especially with the internet, right? I mean, we did have internet when I was going through this, but it was different. Internet 20 years ago is different than internet now, right? Um, so anyways, yeah, there's a lot of support out there. Find something that supports you. And I think it's great to find um, leaders and mentors, coaches. Maybe it's a church or some kind of group or community, whether it's in person or online. Find people that help you, find leaders that help you. But at the end of the day, it's you that has to guide yourself. And that can require a lot of faith and trust. I definitely grew up always following somebody else, right? Which I mean, as a child, yeah, you're depending on adults to shape you and teach you, right? That's pretty normal. I would say I'm definitely trying to raise my children in a way where they question things, though, and where we have really open conversations. And I don't know that I was really raised that way, which is fine. I have a lot of great things from my childhood. I love my parents. We're in a good place. So, I mean, but they're human too. We all are. And I'm sure when my kids grow up, they're going to look back and have things where they go, Mom, why did you do that? Why did you say that? Right? Like, I'm not perfect. I know that. Point being, I think the children now are definitely more in tune with questioning things, though. They're definitely questioning social norms more than the generations before them. Even your young adults now questioning things more than the young adults, 20, 30 plus years ago, which is a good thing. I think it's required for consciousness expanding, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And I love the conversations I have with my kids. We uh, recently, a few weeks ago, started reading the Bible a little bit every night. And I was just comparing to like the way I was raised with the Bible. And there was a time where I never thought I'd pick up a Bible again, too. Um, there's just some resentment there. Just, I don't know, like it's a very patriarchal view of that time. And it took me a while to get like that connection back to wanting to know who Jesus was and having that relationship. Um, because I think there's a lot of things in the Bible that have been left out, or the words have been twisted or translated. Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of have some issues there with that. But I still think, like, the core values and principles and stories, there's a lot of good that can be found there. And I want my kids to be able to kind of have that knowledge and background and be able to discuss that with others as it comes up. But it's interesting because our Bible nightly Bible studies, they're very open. They're very, ask as many questions as you want. And I don't care if I don't have the answers. We're just having a conversation. It's funny, a lot of times we'll read like a chapter and somehow start, you know, they always ask questions. And oftentimes we get on these crazy topics of aliens or other life forms and maybe things in the Bible that don't really make sense. um, Different ways of thinking. I like to talk about dinosaurs in Antarctica and Atlantis and um, just open conversations and I don't know. And I think there's a lot of stories in the Bible too that remind us these people were human. They all messed up. They all messed up a lot. They did. Even the ones that were, portrayed as like of God or a chosen one, they all had their issues. They all messed up. So that's something too I think I talk about with my kids more. I don't really remember those kind of discussions growing up with religion and the Bible, but it's just been fun, a fun thing to explore, and also like telling my kids like I don't think this is the only version of what happened. Um, like I said, it's a very patriarchal version of what took place. I was actually having this conversation with my mom yesterday because we're very much on the same page with these things now, despite how I was raised. My parents have really changed and evolved and grown, and we have super open conversations as well. But they were just living out patterning and conditioning of the way they were raised, right? As oftentimes happens. And so it's been cool to have those conversations. I know I need to look at the camera more. I keep kind of like drifting off. And I don't know how the sound's going to be. I'm trying out a new microphone, and I don't know. Hopefully it all works. I haven't really set up with a mic and camera like this in a long time. So, um, yeah, but I'm getting ready to record some like activations and meditations and things that I'll be releasing. So stay tuned for that. I'll share more on that probably in a couple weeks. But if you're interested, those, and those will be supportive for navigating new belief systems and really coming back to your own truth and connecting with your higher power and finding some peace and comfort there and expanding so that the things I'm working on will be super supportive for that. So definitely follow if you want to hear more on this and are interested in those types of things to support your journey. Meditation is something that's really helped me on my journey a lot. So let's see. I kind of got off track there. What was I even talking about? Oh, discussion with my mom um, about the Bible and just it being like a patriarchal thing. But I do think there's value there, and I am so fascinated and intrigued with studying the Gospel of Mary, which was left out of the Bible, but it exists, and she did right. The feminine Christ consciousness version, the feminine Christ consciousness was very, very much left out of the Bible. So it's being restored, though. It's being restored, and we've seen that in a lot of things in society. Oh, there's been some toxic femininity too. Don't get me wrong. There's been some toxic feminine things that aren't good, but I kind of think like it had to happen, and it's had to happen to maybe speak up more. Like there's like an anger that has risen in women. And I think maybe that's just kind of part of the process. We're returning to more softening. A lot of women are realizing, oh, we need to return to softening, right? Because there's a lot of power in the divine feminine that is soft. But there's a lot that's bold too, right? Finding that balance. So I am going to do more videos and talk more about divine feminine consciousness, Christ consciousness too. So if that's something that intrigues you, I'll be sharing more on that. And I have touched on that in past videos, which actually the video I'm going to link to this, I get way more into that. So, but I am planning on more on that coming. So let's see. What are you questioning? Is there something you want me to talk about? Like if you are someone who has recently been questioning things, obviously I'm going to encourage you to find your own answers, but if there is something that I can share or that I've been through that can relate and that can help guide you, give me topic suggestions, give me your questions in the comments, or if there's something you're struggling with and I can use those for other topics. I always invite you to come back to yourself always pray, meditate, journal, take a walk, give yourself grace. Confusion can be a sign of uh, expansion. That's something I remember Matt Kahn saying. I remember driving home, listening to one of his audio lessons or whatever several years ago, and I remember him saying that um, he's been a spiritual leader that I've been drawn to for a long time, and enjoyed a lot of his teachings. But I remember him saying, confusion is a sign of expansion. When you're in a place of confusion and questioning things and feeling lost, ooh, you're going through something that is leading you to more peace and more truth for yourself. It's just not always fun when you're in that part. But just know that if you stick with it and you want to find answers and you want to find yourself and you want to find your own truth and your own peace, if you're patient with yourself and you stick with it, like you'll find it, right? And then, spoiler alert, you're always going to find more things to question eventually, right? We're always growing, we're always learning. Like, enjoy the journey. It's okay. It's okay. That's one thing I've really had to learn. Um, Speaking of Matt Kahn, I actually was going to pull a card from his deck. I have it sitting right here. So maybe that's what we'll do. I'll pull a couple cards. I do like to pull cards. Maybe not in every single video, but I do pull cards a lot. I just think they're a fun tool and a fun way to connect to the universe and get some answers. I do think they can be used in the wrong way. I've been there too. Um, so I think as long as we're just connecting from the right place, we can get answers from anywhere. I think you can get answers by open a page in a book, just picking up a book and saying, okay, God, universe, whatever you connect with, what do I need to know today? And if it comes from a place of just truly wanting to connect and being at peace, I think when we're in a really extremely desperate energy that things get muffled. I think it is important to just come from the right place. But yeah, flip open a book and find an answer. Pull a card. Sometimes I've had this happen, and I have relatives that have had this happen where they ask God for an answer, and then they get in the car and they turn on the radio, and the song that comes in gives them the peace they were looking for, answers their question. Um, Maybe it's a post you see on social media that just, you know, we hear oftentimes about doom scrolling and spending too much time on there. But I've also had times where I get on there and I see a post that really helps me, a piece of content that really helps me see a perspective on something. So, I mean, there's good there too, right? I mean, you're watching this on the internet, on a platform, and hopefully it's helping you. Okay, let's pull a card from the Healing Mantra deck. I don't think I'm supposed to move around with this mic. I think I'm supposed to stay still. I just wanted to test it out because it's the one I'm going to use to record the activations. And I'm like, I got to make sure it's working and I know how to set it up. My son is watching TV in the other room. Hopefully, it's not picking that up. I can barely hear the TV though. He homeschools, and I've got one son that homeschools and one that goes to public school. Very different kids with different needs. So, okay, what message do we need today to help us shift into any peace around things we're questioning at this time? I love this. Befriending pain. It's not very clear focused, is it? When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. Discomfort, that's another. big one that comes up when you're going through something, you're questioning things, going through some type of awakening. Oh, it can change your relationships with people, all sorts of things. Let me know what's coming up for you. Okay, so befriending pain. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. Okay, don't be afraid of the discomfort. It's just part of the process. When you befriend your pain, you are allowing limitations to be released from the cells of your body because pain is often the result of rapid transformation. It is essential to make friends with it in recognition of how quickly you are evolving. It might be uncomfortable and something nearly unbearable, but your most profound shifts in consciousness often occur once pain is befriended as an ally of your evolution. This mantra is ideal for healing the body, mind, and soul on an energetic level. Okay, that also makes me want to mention uh, paying attention to regulating your nervous system. That can also be really supportive when you're going through. I mean, it's supportive all the time, but when you're going through big changes or questioning things, um, if you don't know much about nervous system regulation, go search it up and start learning about it and applying it. Very, very supportive for that. But one thing you can do that would support your nervous system would be to um, tap, like trying like EFT or even just sitting, putting your hands like this and tap a few times on one side, then tap a few times on the other side, right? And while you're doing that, say something that makes you come back to center to feel safe, right? And we were just talking about discomfort, befriending discomfort. And that's what made me think of this is because I do this almost every day as things are coming up for me. Um, it is safe for me to feel discomfort. It is safe for me to feel discomfort. It is. All right. Okay. I think that's all for today. But if you're feeling this, going through something, um, our planet is shifting in consciousness. We are amidst global awakening for sure. Some, especially like events this past month have shifted things. More people are questioning things, waking up, wanting a connection with something greater than themselves. So just know you're not alone, you're supported, whatever you're going through. And it's all for a good thing. It's all for a higher purpose. Like you have to, if things get kind of like feeling dark or low or whatever it is, I think something that helps me is just remembering like it's all for a greater purpose. And what can I come back to what I can do? What can I control? What daily choices can I make to change and grow and learn? Um, Working on my mindset has been a big one lately for me too. Because we have a lot of conditioning to unravel. So stick with it and I'll be back. I don't know when. I have been trying to put out a weekly video, but I don't think it's quite been every week. I'm really trying to stay on top of that, but sometimes there's weeks and days where I'm just not in the right place to record. So, and sometimes I do like get on and I'm like, hey, I committed to this. I'm gonna get on and show up anyway. And sometimes when I do that, it just feels off, and I'm like, why didn't I just listen and stay off? So last week I didn't record anything because I just was not in a good space to do it. And I do kind of go through that battle with myself of like doing what I said I was going to do, but then also knowing like I have to be in the right energy to show up with the right message. It probably would be better if I just didn't commit to anything at all. I'll be here when I'm here. I'll record and post. But I do try to do about once a week, give or take. But yeah, occasionally I may miss a week when it's just filling off. So yeah, lots to look forward to. A lot of good changes in the world. There's still a lot of things, a lot of issues and problems. And so I don't want to disregard those or pretend they don't exist, but I really do feel like we're moving to more good, even if things get super rocky at times and it doesn't seem that way. Yeah, it's a lot, but you can do this. You can connect, find your own truth, um, and just know you're part of something greater. You are. If you're here, if you're watching this, if you're someone, if you've made it to the end of this video and you're still here watching this, like you're meant to expand and grow, and you have a purpose in this world. So keep doing what you're doing. And let me know if you have topic requests. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet so that you get, more videos popping up. And take care. I'll be back when I'm back.